their performance yesterday is why you need swearing, which makes it hard to describe on the radio. Like, it was just terrible. And so I'm not saying this is all on him by any means, but if we isolate his performance yesterday, it was really poor.
I gave him a C minus, so you sound like it's worse than that. I thought he stepped up in the pocket, made a few plays. Obviously, the play that was called back to McLaurin was a really nice play. I thought the 2-point conversion to Trey Quinn was another nice play, avoided some pressure. He gave McLaurin another 50-50 ball there. It wasn't the greatest throw in the world, but at least he let him make a play. I don't know. I thought it was a C minus. I mean, there was a lot of drops.
That's fair.
Some bad snaps.
I don't think that's far off. I think what's frustrating, like, I guess in a way yesterday was kind of what we asked for, though, if you want to frame it that way, because we did ask for some flashes, and we got flashes.
I thought so.
The play to McLaurin that gets called back is a 10 guys on planet Earth can make that throw kind of throw. That was nuts. I have never seen a throw like that in person, and to see it was pretty jaw-dropping. The throw to Terry down the sideline later in the game is a big-time throw. He hits Harmon on a third down where he gets wrecked.
Yeah.
And that was a big-time throw. So there were some really, really high-level positives yesterday. But I think the frustrating part, and the reason I would say overall it's poor, is you have to be able to operate consistently. And, C minus might be the right grade. And it's a D performance elevated by a few spectacular plays. But the overall consistency, for instance, the interception of Quinn, which has now been just hand-wrung to hell because there seems to be an incapability by a lot of people to understand that there can be two guys who do things wrong on a single play. Trey is wrong because he sits down, gives quarterback his eyes, saying, "Hey, I'm open, throw it," and then moves. Dwayne should have never been looking there. It's a bad decision. It's a squeeze read is what they call it. And so if the will linebacker, so the linebacker winds up picking it off, comes down onto that receiver, you throw to the back and flat. If you go back and watch that replay, and I will put this out once I have the All-22 access, you can see it on the broadcast copy. It's going to be even more just glaring on the All-22. Geis is wide open in the flat, and he's one-on-one with the corner. He's got about 7-8 yards to pick up ahead of steam. That's the throw. And it's not me speculating. I know that's the throw. I know this concept. So it's covered two by the Jets. He makes the wrong read. And it could not be simpler. It's one guy he's got to read. He decides that, all right, I'm going to read this side of the field. Boom, that guy squeezes down on his intended target. Immediately you throw to the flat and you let your guy make a play. And so if he can't do that kind of simple stuff, when they get those are the kinds of like, hey, make it simple. Don't make me decide if a guy's open. You're not. You're reading one guy. It's a PPO, if you want to call it that. It's a pass option. I'm passing here or I'm passing there, and it's based off of one dude. And if you can't do that stuff in the NFL, you're not going to be able to be very successful, and you're not going to be able to overcome it with splash plays. And so while, yeah, he did show some flashes of extreme talent and show some things that I really like. And frankly, I love the fact that he stuck with it. I like the fact that in the fourth quarter he did some stuff. Like, I'm not saying it's discouraging from a long-term standpoint, but man, there's some stuff yesterday that's concerning.
All right, what was going on there when he was talking the offensive line? We all have seen the viral video. It didn't seem like it was received particularly well. I'm not sure if the guys responded at all. They look kind of surprised by the whole thing. What was Dwayne sort of thinking there?
Yeah, I mean, he just wanted to know what he could do. And I think interactions like that kind of happen a lot on NFL sidelines, where one guy's yelling, everyone else is kind of like, okay, this is, they're kind of more in a different state of mind, and they're not going to all of a sudden go meet that. But I think, what I took that as, and this is kind of at large what I wrote about, is him taking more ownership of this. And that's what I think he meant by when he said, I was trying to tell them to give me the plays that I was more comfortable with. I'm trying to tell the offensive line what I need, or what can I do to help you. And, the irony is it's pretty easy to see some of the answers to that stuff. What can you do to help your offensive line? Quit running from clean pockets. That creates pressure. Some of Dwayne's sacks yesterday were created because Dwayne ran out of a clean pocket. And your offensive line protects thinking you're going to be in a certain place. And when you leave that place, it makes them look bad. So there's things like that where there's direct answers. But I think he's saying at large, like, how do we communicate better? How do we make this process cleaner? And these are questions they need to answer. They need to figure out how they can be on the same page more often. And if the offensive line can help Dwayne figure out some blitzes and figure out some fronts and figure out where things are coming from, a more veteran center, I think, would be helpful to this team. By the way, Chase Roulier, if you'd snap the ball cleaner yesterday, would have been extremely helpful. 4, 5, 6 low snaps in that game, and a couple of them on big third downs that didn't give Dwayne a chance. And if you're a young quarterback who's already having trouble reading a defense and need every millisecond you can get and to not have to move your eyes at the very point where you're starting your progression because you have to go find the ball, that's helpful too.
Why was he so bad snapping this? You think he's the first time he's ever played center?
I don't know. It was awful. It was awful. So, in terms of that clip, I don't know exactly what sparked it. We heard Dwayne's answer after the game of kind of what I just said. And, as I wrote, and it's kind of in summary of my article, or the conclusion, either that's a seminal moment for him or it is just another meaningless thing in a lost season that happened to be caught on video.
We're joined by Craig Hoffman, covers the Redskins for 106.7 The Fan. He's brought to you by Dell EMC and TVAR Solutions, transforming the Federal Data Center. Here's a question I need answered. How does Terry McLaurin have the same number of targets as Trey Quinn and Steven Sims Jr., and he has 2 targets less than Calvin Harmon? How does that happen?
They roll coverage over there a lot, but it shouldn't happen. Yesterday they were playing pretty straight cover 2, from what I understand. Talked to some folks after the game. So Dwayne's got to look at him, and I'll have more answers when I come on with you guys later this week. Like, ask me the same question sometime after
Wednesday.
I guess, yeah, Wednesday. If we do Thursday or Friday, ask me again, and we'll come back to this because I'll have been able to watch the tape.
Yeah, because my answer was, just being a dumb fan, is he's not looking at him all the time.
Yeah, because he wins all the time.
Yeah, he needs to look more in his direction.
He's so good.
Yeah.
And I saw a couple people saying, like, oh, why is he celebrating when he makes the catches down late? Those weren't celebrations. Those were frustration. Bleep this. I've been there all game.
Yeah.
Why haven't you been looking at me? I've been telling you all game, get me the ball. And Terry's never going to be like Randy Moss, Terrell Owens, demonstrative in that way. But like behind the scenes, he's every bit as diva-ish in terms of wanting the ball as those guys, which is a positive trait. He's just never going to throw anybody under the bus and express it in the ways that have gotten so many receivers in trouble in the past. He's too good of a teammate and too smart for that. But Terry's a smart football player. He knows when he's going to be open. He knows how to beat coverage. And so, especially if it's straight cover 2, like, you got a lot of route concepts that are on the same, you can design it up that Terry's going to be the guy who's involved in the progression, because either you have a cover 1 beater on one side and a cover 2 beater on the other, or you typically mirror routes, and so you just pick the side that you like. Pick Terry's side more often. And this is something, again, I got to see on tape to exactly understand why they shied away from him a lot, but I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of, like, what they call honey hole shots, like 15, 20 yards down the field on the sideline, which is one of the weak points in cover 2. It's a tough throw, but Dwayne was drafted to make those throws because he's got the arm to do it. Tight windows, but they're there. And I have a feeling Terry McLaurin's going to be open a lot in those windows, and Dwayne's going to have not thrown it.